right, welcome everybody to the Cutline. This is a program we're going to start doing every time that the paper gets delivered to citizens who are subscribed. Today's episode is for the June 1st paper. So if you don't know, Mvskoke Media, in addition to having the website and this YouTube channel, we also put out a newspaper twice a month called the Mvskoke News. Citizens can subscribe to the paper to have it delivered at their house for free. If you want to do that, there's a link in the description of this video that you can go and get signed up for that service. If you're not a citizen and you want to get a physical copy of the paper, I believe it's $25 for a year. If you want to read the paper but you don't need a physical copy, there's also a link to the archive of our paper and a link to this issue in the description below. So check that out. So what we're planning on doing here with the Cutline is, if you're a citizen and you've got your issue of the paper, you can kind of read through it and then ask any questions you may have on any of these stories. I'm going to kind of give a little preview of all of the stories and what they are and some of the interesting stuff in them, and maybe fill in some gaps. So let me give you a little background on, and if you have any questions about anything while I'm talking, go ahead and pop them into the chat. Let me give you a little background on the production of the newspaper. So this June 1st edition was, the deadline for all of the news was, I believe, the 18th. The 19th of May, we built the paper, and then on the following Monday, I believe that was the 22nd, we sent it to Stigler, to the printers, to be printed and then mailed out to the citizens so that it can arrive on June 1st. Today is the deadline for the June 15th paper. So what does that mean? Well, it means that the news, basically no more news stories could have been put into this issue until after or before May 18th. So anything that happened after that is going to go in the next paper, if you catch my drift. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and dive right into this issue of the Mvskoke News. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and pop them right into the chat. So the first story we have is Murdered and Missing Indigenous Persons Awareness Day proclaimed as May 5th. You may be asking yourself, why is it Murdered and Missing Indigenous Persons Awareness? What happened to the women, right? So that's kind of what the story outlines. There is a small technical gaffe in here that we caught after we had already sent it to the printers. I'm going to highlight it here, but it's something that I also think is interesting. Quote, let's see here, it's down here. In 2021, U.S. District Attorney Trent Shores disclosed information on Mvskoke Radio stating that in Oklahoma there are more cases of missing Native women or men than women, right? So he's saying that there's more missing Native men than there are women. His title here is U.S. District Attorney, but Trent Shores in 2021 was with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Oklahoma. So, and we're going to have a clarification run in the next issue about that because the title is a little bit off there. But there's also some interesting quotes and statistics here explaining this MMIP, the new designation for this awareness day. Moving on down. We've got Bacone accreditation complaint filed. This story is about a former employee of Bacone filed a accreditation complaint with the Higher Learning Commission about Bacone's processes and things, and we were provided a copy of the complaint, and that's what the article is. And there has been a little update to this story that's going to run in the June 15th issue. That in the story, the complaint alleges that Bacone had some Cleary Act violations. So the Cleary Act is a law that requires colleges and universities to report their crime statistics. This complaint alleged that there were some violations and that Bacone had been fined, right? So we reached out to the Department of Education to try to verify that. We couldn't get that verified by the time that the paper was sent out, but we did end up eventually getting a statement from a Department of Education spokesperson And this statement is going to be in the next issue, the June 15th issue of the paper, but I'm just going to go ahead and read it to you guys. It says, as of October 2022, the fine is still pending. Fines are not reported on the public page until they are imposed. So, and that's a direct quote. So we also were confirmed with the Department of Education that Bacone has been put on financial monitoring, and that'll also be in the June 15th paper, a more detailed description of what that consists of and why it could have happened. The other story we've got here on the front page is June 1st Graduate Profile Edition pushed back to June 15th edition. So normally with this issue of the paper, we would have a graduate edition, which is photos and bios for all the students, native students that graduated from various things throughout in the spring. So because we had the staff that would normally lay out the paper and the graduate edition weren't available when we got close to deadline, we had to push that back. But we are planning on sending it with the June 15th edition, so you're still going to get it. No worries there. Let's move on to page 2. Mvskoke High School seniors' future is above par. This story is about Addison Glass being signed on to play collegiate golf at the, let me get this name right, University of Science and Arts of Oklahoma in Chickasha. So a really wonderful student, interesting story there. Check that out. The other part of our page here is Bacone, the rest of the story. We have the SCOTUS ruled on the Twitter case. If you follow the things that we live stream, and we live streamed 2 oral arguments from the United States Supreme Court. One of them was Twitter versus Tamnay, and the other was Gonzalez v. Google. Both of these cases basically talked about whether Google or Twitter are liable for things that users post on their site. The reason we were covering it is because it could, in theory, affect us with our website and user comments on stories and things, right? The Twitter case was trying to show that Twitter, or is trying to filed a claim that, I'm trying to get this exactly correct, Twitter aided and abetted ISIS by allowing them a way to recruit people and post videos on Twitter, right? The Supreme Court found that there wasn't enough, that case wasn't proven, so Twitter didn't aid and abet ISIS. The Gonzalez v. Google case was very similar. Kind of revolved around algorithms pushing content and pushing things like ISIS videos to people who had shown an interest in those things. That case got remanded back down for the lower courts to reevaluate in light of the Supreme Court's ruling in the Twitter case. So that's basically what that story is in a nutshell. Let's go on down here. Gary's column is pretty interesting this month. So I believe Gary publishes his column once a month, so it's like every other edition, and sometimes it gets put in the second edition of the paper. He kind of gives his Gary spin on things, so it's pretty interesting, and if you haven't ever checked it out, give it a read. This is Gary Fife. He's our radio host for Mvskoke Radio, and he has a once-a-month column there. Let's go on down. There's a big ad here from the election board for their text notifications, and also they're looking for precinct workers. You can apply at the link there. They bought that ad, so that's why that's there. The Federal Roads Program fully funds community project. This is about the Old Morris Highway Bridge that got replaced with some federal funding. Very interesting community story there if you live on the Old Morris Highway or you've ever gone down it. The MCN pageant date has been set for June 3rd. And again, you guys, if you have any questions, pop them into the chat. I just saw T.Y. Pearl posted something. Let's see here. Here's another wrinkle to this story that's in here. So if you're a pageant fan, is it's being moved to the Crystal Theater, and that is in Okemah, I believe. Is that right? It's in the story there. So last year I think it was at River Spirit Casino, and this year it's going to be at the Okemah or the Crystal Theater. Let me see what T.Y. Pearl's asking here. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing a mohawk, but we'll see if I can get away with it. You know, my problem, T.Y. Pearl, is getting a little thin up here. You know what I mean? I don't know if I can do the thick mohawk like you need. So, tribal election year, yes. Also, so T.Y. Pearl's big comments, tribal election year. This year, we are planning to do what we would normally do, and it's also a chief year, which is we're going to be doing our live streams where we have the candidates join. You guys could come into the chat and ask them whatever questions you want for each candidate for each district. And if you don't know, the candidate filing period, I believe, is 7/17 through 7/19. That's July 17th through July 19th. So that's when the candidates will be filing, and we'll be handing out our information packets to them, and it'll really start jumping up here. Let's keep going down here with the paper. What do we got? Oh, MCM Recreation Department set to host res games. So the res games this year are basically going to be like the softball tournament and stuff like that. Are going to be held a little bit earlier in the month, I think, from last year. And also they're going to be having an esports component in the dome. So check that story out if you're into esports, or you just want to see. I'm pretty sure this is the first time that the Creek Nation Festival has ever had esports as part of those competitions. So they're moving into the future. Let's go on down here. We've got our regular session coverage, with the headline there being the MCN Human Services Department set to receive $2.5 million in relief. Every paper that we put out, we have council coverage from all the committee meetings and all of the council meetings that may happen during the period where that paper is going to be covering. So if you want to see all of the results of how people voted and what discussions were had, go check out the paper. This is also council coverage here. Property for addiction treatment facility postponed. Emergency session, okay. Resolution urges okay legislature to override governor's vetoes. I don't know if you guys remember, but Governor Stitt vetoed a whole lot of stuff, like mass vetoes, and some of the stuff that was got vetoed was like the Regalia Act that has since that veto got overridden by the legislature, so that regalia law became a law. NAGPRA agreement will transfer control over 10,000 human remains, so the tribe is set to get a lot of repatriated human remains, tribal members' remains, so that's an interesting story about the legislation there. Let's see here. There's been some... T.Y. Pearl asks, sup with that City of Tulsa Curtis Act case and the Friedman case. So, Friedman case, where are we at? We are going to, in the next issue of the paper, and I am going to publish a video on it on Monday, probably, it looks like, because tomorrow I'm going to be working on the paper, and then Monday we're going to send the paper, and then I'm going to publish my video that's going to be updates on ongoing coverage, right? So there's a lot of stories that have been hanging in the background that it's going to be kind of a video where we try to keep you abreast of that. But on the Friedman case, the trial ended 2 months ago, and we still don't have a decision. There was a motion filed, and there is a hearing scheduled for the 23rd of this month on the motion. The motion was for, I believe it was sanctions. Basically, it was a motion saying that if you watch the trial coverage that we have on our channel, there was some dispute about whether discovery was done properly, and Mr. Solomon Simmons got all the information that he could have gotten from the government during the discovery process. And this sanctions motion is something that you file typically when you say, this needs to be reevaluated because the discovery wasn't done properly. So there's going to be a hearing on that on the 23rd. It is a little weird that we have that motion, but we don't have the decision yet. And it's been a while, but, it is a pretty heavy issue. So we'll see what the judge decides. The Tulsa Curtis Act case, that one I'm not familiar with. You might shoot me an email about that, TY Parole, or give me a case number or something if you got something there, and I'll look into that, because I don't believe I've had any coverage on there. Mr. Shaw asked me if I got your emails. I have not got your emails, Mr. Shaw. I don't know where they're going, but you can also, I think you can send me a message on YouTube with any questions or anything that you want. But my email, if you guys don't know, is just J Moore. That's the letter J and then Moore at Mvskokemedia.com. That's just like our channel here, Mvskokemedia.com. Let's see. Y'all should do more coverage of the Intertribal Council of the 5 Civilized Tribes. Yeah, we try to cover that as much as we can. A lot of the time when they have that meeting, they don't allow you into the breakout rooms and things like that to actually get the stuff that you need. But we'll take it under consideration. Let's go on here, and I'm going to scroll down. We have the accomplishments and the in memoriam section here. You guys can check that out. And legals, that's it. So, what's going to happen in the future next? So, as I said earlier, today is the deadline for the June 15th paper. That means all the reporters have to have their copy turned in today. Braden Harper, our editor, is going to edit all that copy. And me and him are both going to work together and do the layout of the paper on Friday and Monday morning. I believe Braden is he's the one that's going to end up doing the graduate edition. Then we're going to send all that stuff out Monday, and then you guys will get the physical copy on June 15th. And I believe normally the web copy is posted to our website a couple of days before that. So if you want to get it as fast as you can, that's where you would go. If you want the most up-to-date coverage, you can go to our website. We get posts out as soon as they're cleared by the editor. We post them on our website, and Facebook's pretty good. We're pretty good on Facebook too. What else is going on that I could let you guys know about? Oh, here's something that you may not find out about till I'm going to do a story on it. But the Bad Press documentary about the battle for free press at the Mvskoke Creek Nation is going to be at the Dead Center Film Festival June 10th. So if you're in the OKC area and you want to catch that, I have been behind the scenes. I have been speaking to the creators of the film, and what they've told me is they don't have distribution yet, so it's not on any streaming services. But if you want to catch it in the theater, go check it out. There's also a trailer now on YouTube. After the Dead Center Film Festival, well, if you go on YouTube and you search Bad Press documentary, it'll bring up the trailer, because the film festival, or the film was recently shown at a documentary film festival in Poland. So that festival posted a trailer for the film there. Let's see. Who won Battle of the Bands to perform at the festival? I do not know that has been determined yet, but I will look into it, TY Prol, and we'll try to get something out on that if we know. The guys over in Tourism and Rec right now, this is their scrambling period where there's things they can announce and things that they can't announce, and so on and so forth. And if you're watching this right now, Saturday, June 3rd is also the pageant, so go check that out. Let's see here. Are you covering the Drillers Mvskoke Nation Night? I am personally not covering it, but I think we are. We are going to have a reporter there. I think so. If not, I'm pretty sure that the Public Relations Department will have a guy from the Mvskoke Creek Nation Public Relations will have somebody there that will do a package on their Facebook if you want to go check that out. I agree with you that the jersey is really awesome looking and limited quantities, right? I believe is the key word there. So we're going to also have a video coming out next week about some of the new services that our creative department, it's not new services, but some of the upgrades that our creative department's going to have, and a preview of the festival t-shirts that we're going to have at festival this year. So keep an eye out for that. If you're somebody who likes to collect the Mvskoke Media t-shirts, we're going to have a little preview of what's going to be on sale. So with that being said, I don't see any more questions, and we've kind of gone through the entire paper route. And let me think. Is there anything else that I need to let you guys know? June 14th is going to be the deadline for the July 1st issue of the paper, right? And then that will go out, and I don't have the deadline for the July 15th paper on my calendar, so it's too far out. And so we've got some stuff coming. Next week, we're going to have that ongoing coverage update. We're going to have the creative preview, and hopefully this weekend or that weekend I'll be able to get some information on the film festival, and we can get something out about the pageant. So Mado for tuning in, and that's today's Cutline.